happens when you simulate the Euros 10,000 times? Well, we're about to tell you exactly how it unfolds, and it may shock or potentially delight you, because in this video, there will be a giant that won't make it out of the groups, England's most likely route to the final, and the dark horse that nobody sees coming. And along the way, we're going to sprinkle in some absolutely crazy simulations that happened. You won't believe one of England's simulations. More like stimulations. Okay, the groups. This is arguably the most fun part of the video, where anyone can beat anyone. And oh boy, did that reveal itself in these simulations. By the way, guys, the JLA channel has its own simulation guy. Yeah, Craig. Craig is an absolute diamond. He has a Twitter account called Under the Pitch. He has done this beautiful simulation for us. So if you want a more detailed explanation of the simulation and how he created it, there's a link in the description. Click on that and you'll get an in-depth explanation from our boy Craig. Cheers, Craig. Group A. This group contains Germany. Could they? Switzerland, Hungary, and of course Scotland. Could they? Well, first off, no. They could not. The simulations had them finishing bottom with a 42.85% likelihood of finishing fourth, which sadly gives Scotland the highest percentage chance of finishing fourth. But it's not all bad, because they have an 11.19 chance of finishing top. Football creates these crazy moments, so it's going to be fine. This year's the year, Scotland. Come on. And that's more than 10%. So that's something. But don't worry, because there was one simulation in particular that made for very interesting reading for all Scotland fans. Now, the interesting part of this group will be the battle for second place to secure automatic qualification through to the knockouts. And while Switzerland always have a strong team, Hungary, in fact, are an exceptional team. But how much does that help them? Well, it was close between these two. The simulations only had them separated by a difference of less than 1%. But it was Hungary who came out on top with 27.39% chance of finishing second, while Switzerland fell short with 26.65%. But the point here is that these percentages are low. And because Scotland, in fact, had an 18.02 chance of finishing second too, this group could be really fun. I hope it is, and I hope by fun it means that Scotland qualify. Come on! But it was Germany that took the top spot with 42.33% chance of finishing top, which makes sense, but more to come on them later. Guys, I'm struggling with my contact lenses. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. Reveal yourself! Sim 7820, it was a doozy. This is where some of the fun stuff starts to show itself, because in that simulation, Germany won all their group games, but the knockout matches had a weird recurring theme. And that theme was drawing. Germany drew every single one of their knockout matches, but won every single one of the penalties and ended up winning the whole thing. Germans and penalties. Even with the low chance of progressing, Scotland still progressed in this simulation, guys. But their points total will truly shock you. The best third-place teams progress in the Euros, and that's what happened to Scotland with a staggering 1 point. But advancing anyway due to their slim goal difference. However, they did go on to get knocked out by Portugal in the round of 16. But still, come on, I think you take that. Would you take that? You would take that. Let me know. You'd take it, I know you would. But I think you'd take this next one more. Simulation 5916. This one made me sick in my mouth. And it would be on one hand amazing, but on the other hand, truly horrific. Because in Simulation 5916, both Scotland and England make it all the way to the final. But who won? Well, it was Scotland. By a score of 3-2. Dykesy with a hat-trick, maybe. I don't know. And the very next day, they announced their independence. Nah, can of worms, that, isn't it? Simulation 5218, and we've got ourselves a crazy Switzerland simulation that's creating stimulation in your boy Jimbo, because it made me laugh. They finished third in their group, and Scotland actually won the group in this one. But they drew every single group stage game, then advanced into the knockouts and went on to draw every single one of those too, and ended up winning the tournament without winning a game. If this happens, surely Jan Sommer or Gregor Kobel will be winning the Ballon d'Or for the penalty shootouts alone. Of course, with the Euros coming up, you need to get yourself ready. You might be on your holidays, but you might still want to be able to watch what you want when you want to, especially when it comes to those big games. So you need to get yourself a Surfshark VPN, today's sponsor. Now, what is Surfshark? Surfshark is a VPN, a virtual private network that keeps your online data safe by encrypting all of the data between the device and the internet. It's crucial when you're using public Wi-Fi because it keeps those cyber criminals at bay. It keeps you safe, and with a Surfshark VPN, you can change your real location to any location around the world. Over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries. And the important thing here, guys, listen up now, because it means that you can access new content, firstly, across the world, the Netflix libraries of Japan, USA, as I said, over 100 countries, but also, if you're on holiday and you're going to want to watch every single game of the Euros, and you might want to watch your favourite channels. So change your IP address, be it back to the UK if you're not in the UK, or if in the UK and you want to hear the American commentary or another country's commentary, you can do that by simply changing your location with Surfshark. Also, masking your IP address is essential in becoming private online. A VPN ensures your city, country, and download history isn't linked to your identity. And Surfshark's clean web features blocks ads, phishing attempts, tracking, and malware, allowing you to surf the web safely. And the final thing that sets Surfshark apart and provides even more value is that you can use your Surfshark VPN on unlimited devices, phone, iPad, computer, whatever you need. So if you currently don't have a VPN, it just makes sense with the summer coming up to have one to watch what you want, wherever you want to, safely. So click on the link in the description, use my promo code Allcott, and get yourself 3 months for free. I can never say that bit. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. So why not give Surfshark a go? 3 months for free. 3 months for free. Time for a big shock, and that big shock comes in Group B, because in this group we have Spain, Albania, Croatia, and Italy. Now, first off, we have Albania, who you have to feel for in this group. It's their second ever appearance at a tournament, and they get this group. Come on! So it's no surprise that they have a 63.98% likelihood of finishing bottom, but the real battle here is going to be between Croatia and Italy. On one hand, you have Italy, who aren't in an amazing spot right now. Meanwhile, you have an aging Croatia team that only qualified on the last match day. So it's going to get tasty, I think, and this is where it gets interesting, because Italy have a higher percentage chance of finishing second than Croatia. However, they also have a higher percentage chance of finishing third, whilst Croatia have a 3% likelier chance of winning the group than Italy. Therefore, Italy will finish third according to the 10,000 simulations. And at the top of the table, by some distance, it's Spain with 46.08%. Time for some fun simulations. Simulation 8,540, and we need to talk about Spain, actually, because in this particular simulation, they absolutely walked the whole tournament. They scored a total of 16 goals in the knockouts alone and smashed France in the final. Group C, here we go, people, here we go. Is everyone ready? England's group. This one is fairly cut and dry, which doesn't make me feel good, weirdly. England and Denmark are in 1 and 2, and Slovenia and Serbia are lacking quite far behind. However, when you do 10,000 simulations, you get some randomness thrown into the mix. Of course you do. That's why this video is so bloody fun. And this is exactly the case for simulation 8,150, because not only did Germany, Italy, France, and Portugal all finish bottom, so did England. This particular simulation even had Albania making it to the quarterfinals, whilst the Netherlands defeated Austria in the final. I'm getting 1992 Denmark vibes there. But it's not all doom and gloom, and in simulation 4,980, we'll remember that one, of course, it was far from it. And this could potentially be the best way to win the Euros. In this simulation, England progressed easily through the group, but in the knockouts, it starts to become a bit crazy. Because in this simulation, the England knockout games, they are an absolute joke. It starts off with a routine 3-1 win over Romania and gets progressively crazier. In the quarterfinals, England defeated Italy 4-3. They then beat Belgium with the same scoreline before facing the Netherlands in the final and beating them 2-1. Come on, imagine that. That said, in simulation 2131, we have the opposite scenario where England won the tournament whilst only scoring 1 goal in the entire knockout stages. Tell me in the comments which one you'd prefer, because winning it with only 1 goal scored in the knockouts would be tense, but ultimately enjoyable because you win, right? Up next is Group D, made up from France, the Netherlands, Poland, and Austria. Let's start with Poland. Look away if you're Polish right now, because with only 6.62% chance of winning the group, you are likely to finish rock bottom, with the simulations giving Poland a 52.71% chance of finishing rock bottom, which is the highest chance of finishing bottom of anyone that we've seen so far. But the rest of the group is actually hotly contested, and France may not have it all their own way. The simulations have given Austria a 29.9% chance of finishing third, but there's only a 2% difference between Austria and the Netherlands for the second place spot, which makes things really interesting. The shocking part for France is that they only have a 42.79% chance of winning the group, which is the lowest of any group winner in the whole tournament. And that may factor into what happens in the knockouts. Group E, again, we've got a fairly unbalanced group here, somewhat like England's. However, there will be a huge battle for second in this group, with all the teams having similar likelihoods. But it's Belgium who will top the group, although you do feel a bit of a possibility of a shock with them, especially after Qatar and the rumours that you hear about them. The Belgian boys have a 53.13% likelihood, which nobody even gets close to. The fun part of this group is actually the battle for third, because of how close it is in terms of percentages. You've got Romania, they've got a 21.67% chance. Slovakia with a 25.48% chance. But it's Ukraine who just edge it with 26.36%. Group F really caught my eye because the simulation absolutely loves one of the teams. In this group, we've got Georgia, Czech Republic, Portugal, and Turkey, who will all put up some good performances, you'd think. But it's Portugal that the simulation has got a lot of love for. It gave them a 67.08% chance of winning the group, whilst the second highest was Czech Republic with only 16.27% chance. Not only is this the highest chance of winning the group, but it's also the biggest gap between the most likely and the second most likely in the whole tournament. Georgia are very likely to finish bottom with a 60.16% chance of doing so. But despite having a really low chance of getting out of the group, in simulation 452, Georgia did the unthinkable and summoned the power of the dark arts to win the whole thing, with a string of draws that led them all the way to the final against Germany, where they won on penalties after a 0-0 win. Draw. That would be insane. It must be the year of the draws this season. Keep an eye out for that. Now let's have a look at who is the most likely to face each other in the knockout rounds of the competition and some likely routes to the final. Starting off with the four best third place teams. In the simulations, it was the third place teams from groups A, B, D and F that make it out of the group the most times. So factor that in. And according to the simulations, these teams would be Switzerland, Italy, Austria and Turkey. So according to the simulation, this will be the round of 16. Actually, this is where I'd like you guys to get involved. In the comments, let me know who makes it through from this list. You've got Spain against Austria, Germany against Denmark, Portugal against Italy, Netherlands against Ukraine, Belgium against Switzerland, France against Czechia, England against Turkey, Hungary against Croatia. I think there's one shock there in particular already. I think it's Austria, but what do you guys think? Let me know. As a QPR fan, let's do something a little bit alien, shall we? Let's talk about winners. Because next we have the top 5 teams with the best chance of winning the Euros based off the 10,000 simulations. This was the moment where I looked at it and I was like, huh? I was waiting to see a team and they weren't there. And I just didn't see this coming one bit. But first, some of the teams who didn't make the top 5 are the hosts, Germany, Netherlands, Denmark, and Italy, all with under 6% chance of winning the tournament according to the simulations. So the top 5 are, drumroll please, Finn. In 5th spot, Belgium. They've got a 7.76% chance of doing it this summer. In 4th spot, Spain, with a 10.85% chance, 10% chance of winning it. In 3rd spot, and this is the one I was like, what? In 3rd spot is France, with 10.99% chance of winning the Euros. Notice how I haven't mentioned England yet. It's coming! No, I do believe it is, though. In number 2, we have England, with 11.48% chance of doing the business. And in number 1, by quite a distance, actually, it's Portugal, with 14.74% chance. It feels crazy, but we did do this 10,000 times to make sure.